Morning gardeners, welcome back to the plot. Weather's a bit hit and miss today, and we're just moving into June. Temperatures are still a bit suppressed, like 9-10 degrees this morning. Not very good, but what we have had, and what's very welcome, is lots and lots of rain recently. So I'll do some filming today when I can dodge the rain showers. I'm just going to get the dogs in, my buddies. There's nobody else on the site yet today. In you go. Oh, I'll just let the dogs in. Today is a big day for me because if all goes well, I'll be using up the final bed, the final space on the plot, and that means everywhere it'll be planted up as of today. So the plan is, you just see down here where the corn is, in this little space here, I'm going to be putting my pumpkins, so they will be going out today. So if I put them in this area, they can spread amongst the beans and the sweet corn using the Three Sisters method. I mean, this rain, everything has absolutely took off. I'll just show you where my pumpkins are at the minute. Pumpkins, you can see how much rain there's been. There are my pumpkins, so they've been out here now for a week or so. Ooh, got a bit of slug damage there. You can see that. Pesky slugs. So they're looking well. They've been out here for a week now, just acclimatising outside with the lid of the cold frame up, so they can get used to the temperatures out of the greenhouse. So they should be ready to go in today. And as I say, they're going to go in there, and then that will be all of the beds on the entire plot planted up. All the allium beds, everything else is in and looking really, really well. I may also do a quick plot tour when I get them in. When that's in, I'll as I say, I'll do a quick plot tour, and you can just see how the plot is looking in the first week in June. So I'll get started on that and bring you guys back, and we'll see how we're going. See you in a minute. Welcome back, guys. Just in the middle of trying to dodge the rain showers, so hopefully I can get these in before the next rain shower comes and rains me off. So this is the final part of the allotment in regards to getting stuff planted out. The whole of the plot now is all planted up. Everything that I want to get in the ground is in the ground. So this is the last little bit now. Pumpkins are going in. It's the beginning of June. Corn's already in. Courgettes in. All my peas and my beans are all in this bed. So now I'm going to get my pumpkin plants in, ready for Halloween, and the grandkids love to come and pick their own pumpkins. So I'll just show you how I do this. It's fairly straightforward. As I say, these guys have been in the cold frame for the last fortnight with the lid half open, just so they can acclimatise themselves to slightly cooler temperatures than what they had in the greenhouse. This here is just my homemade compost, and I've mixed in with it some turkey and chicken manure pellets, just because the pumpkins being quite leafy, they need a really good feed to get them going. Now this bed had a good inch and a half of my own homemade compost earlier on in the year, over the winter time and very, very early spring, and it was spread right across the bed. So this should be a really, really, really rich and nutritious bed. But I like to give them a little bit extra in regards to the to putting in some on the homemade compost and chicken manure pellets, I should say, just to give them a head start. So this will be the first one. Just pop them in here. These really are a leafy plant, and they'll spread right across this bed. In fact, it'd be difficult to keep a control of them. I only grew pumpkins for the first time last year, so it was a bit hit and miss. I just basically popped them in the ground and watched them go. But some did better than others. And my germination this year on the pumpkins was really poor. My first 2 lots of sowings failed completely. Well, I think that was to do with the compost being a little bit too wet. What I did this time was just to tip off Alan off the dawn chorus. I didn't bury the pumpkin seed right into the compost. I just nipped the base off, and then I sat them in when most of the seed was out of the soil, and they germinated really well. So I'll be doing that again next year. So just dug the hole, size of the pot. Then I backfill it with compost and manure. So plop them in, as easy as that. When the sun's out this morning, it's absolutely beautiful, but the second it goes behind the clouds, the temperature really does fall through the floor. Anyway, that's one in. As I said, we've had lots and lots of rain the last couple of days, so the soil is really moist. I will still give them a little bit of a water just to settle the roots in. But other than that, everything should be okay. Another one here. Quite firm. I saw it here because I've walked on it a lot. I've compressed it down quite a bit. But still, it's coming up. It's not too bad. Sit in there. Another handful of nice rich compost and manure. There we go, that's the second one in. So I've got another 2 to do at this end of the bed, and then I've placed 2 out the bottom end of the bed where my beam structure is. So I'll put them in as well, and then I'll bring you back and you can see how it all looks. And then that'll be all of my beds done for this part of the year anyway. Right guys, I'm back. The next rain shower has just hit, so I'll very quickly show you what we've just done. So there we go. There's our pumpkins in. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I've got 6 in total. 2 there, 1 over here, the French beans, another one with the French beans. They're all looking really healthy. And just before this rain hits properly, I'll show you where I've put the other 2. I don't know whether you can pick up the noise of that rain. Okay, so that's at the base of my climber French beans. And there's the next pumpkin. So that's 6 in total to spread through that bed. Now I'm going to take cover now, because I'm just about to get drenched by the latest rain shower. So I'm going to get out the way in the shed, like Dottie has, because she's not soft, are you, Dot? Hey? You're not going out in that rain, are you? Rightio. The other dog is in the greenhouse. Look, he thinks he can find something. Look at him. Stuart, what are you doing? Come round here. Come on. What are you looking for? Stuart, come on. Always up to no good. Go on, in the shed. Let's get out the rain, mate. Okay, so it might be cup of tea time while we wait for that latest shower to finish, and then if I'm lucky I'll be able to give you a bit of a plot tour, and I want to show you inside my polytunnel. I did a fair bit of work on the polytunnel yesterday, and that is now all planted up. Everything that I want to go in the polytunnel is now in, so I'd really like to show you that. I won't be able to do it in this rain because you probably won't hear me, because the rain will be battering off the polytunnel. So for now, make yourselves a cup of tea, because I think that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll bring you back when the weather permits. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, welcome back, guys. The latest rain shower has passed over now, so I'd just like to show you how the polytunnel's looking. I finished all my planting up in there yesterday and did a little bit of work on the watering system, so I'll quickly show you that. As I've said in previous videos, this is my first year with the polytunnel, so it's been a bit of a learning curve, but I'm really enjoying using it. I've got some carrots on the go there, some early carrots, just interplanted with the rest of the stuff. Strawberries, as you can see, are coming on really nice. When you do a little bit of sunshine today, get them ripened up. But using the halo systems along this side, I've got my 6 main tomato plants in, which will be more than enough for us. I do have some spares in the greenhouse, but this will be more than enough for me and the wife. So we have a Marmande, a Roma, Sweet Million, which is a cherry tomato, red cherry tomato, Gardener's Delight, which is standard, and then we have another Marmande there. And I've got interplanted along there some spicy mixed lettuce, which I've never tried before. So I harvested some of that yesterday, and I'm going to have it for lunch later in a salad. I put a sweet basil in yesterday, and a sweet basil in over here, and that'll go towards making some tomato and basil soups later on in the season that the wife's an expert at. At this end, I've got my 2 cucumber plants. They're called La Diva. Never grown them before, don't know what they're like, so we'll see how they go. I've got a little tub of carrots there. Again, I'm obsessed with growing carrots, because last year every single one of them failed in regards to the carrot root fly, destroyed them all. So I seem to have carrots potted about everywhere, trying to get some this year. Right, my chilies are all on this side of the polytunnel with my rudimentary watering system using the plastic bottles. So I've got over here, so that's a sweet pepper, another mixed sweet pepper, that one's a bell pepper, I've got a cayenne which is hot, I've also got a Romano mix, and basically they go up and down. I've got a mixture of bell, sweet and hot. Hot ones are the cayenne. Now this one here, this only went in yesterday. It's one of the smaller of my chili plants, but it's already flowering, and I think what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to pick these flowers off, because I don't think that plant's going to be big enough really to support chili production this early on. You can see how small it is. It really is quite small. So what I want it to do is to put all of its energies into growing and putting more leaf on, more stems on, so it becomes a bigger and more robust plant. The others are not too bad, they've not started flowering yet. I've got one there, and again I'm going to pick that off because I want the plant to be bigger and stronger before it starts having to produce any peppers or any chilies. So that's how my poly's looking. Some more strawberries over here, and I couldn't be happier with it. I'm really happy with how it's turned out and how much extra growing space it's given me. Now you'll notice here I've got a watering system that I put in yesterday. This was from last year. I used it in the greenhouse and it worked well for me. It's like a drip irrigation system on a timer on a water butt, and I fed it all around, and it's mostly for when I can't get to the plot. If me and the wife go away for a few days, I'm really concerned that the plants are not going to get water correctly. So what I did was I moved the water butt over from that area over there, right in that corner, because I used it last year, as I say, in the greenhouse. Now I've got the polytunnel, I shifted it over here. So I've got the water butt full now, I've got the timer system in place. I'm just going to run through some checks with it today and then hopefully get it working. What I did do is I fed the water pipe just underneath the path here in a little bit of spare hose pipe, and as you can see it just pops up there, drops into the polytunnel there, and then the feeder pipe goes all the way around in and out of all of the plants, and it just worked out perfect in regards to its size, and that's exactly where it ended there. So that worked out really well for me. So I'm going to give that a test today. As I say, it's sat for a year in the corner and it's not been used, so I'll see how that works and let you know. And that's my polytunnel, so I'm really happy with that this year. And while I'm on it, I may as well give you a plot tour before that next lot of rain hits, and then this will be my official June plot tour. So we'll start here at this end of the plot. So this is my sprout bed. They're looking really good, really healthy. I had 2 spare stations which I filled this week with them 2 smaller plants, so I've got 10 in total there. That'll be more than enough to keep us going through the winter. My green calabrese are looking good. We're already starting to get a nice head there. I'll be harvesting that soon. I've already harvested out of a couple of these beds. These are cauliflowers. I've harvested a cauliflower out of that bed, and I've harvested one out of this bed, and I've also harvested 2 cabbages. These Primo, and they're lovely. They are so fresh, so nice. You can see how well they're doing. We're getting nice heads on them. So we've already had a couple of them this week. Now what I did do on a previous video, I mentioned that I'd put in between my cauliflower green curly kale. Well, I was completely wrong. I must have labelled up my cells incorrectly, because it turns out that they're snowball turnips. Now I don't know whether you can see that in there. I've already harvested some of these turnips, and they're really tasty. Don't know whether you can see that one there. Yeah, you can see that one. They're a white turnip, perfectly round, hence the name Snowball. So the brassicas are doing really well. My leek bed, I did a video on that last week, so that's all now. Every station's filled. I've got exactly 70 leeks in that bed, and they all seem to have taken okay. This is all alliums on this side. So here we have my shallots. Again, I've already started harvesting some of these shallots and using them like a spring onion, like a large spring onion. In fact, I might harvest one now and show you what I do, because I only tend to keep about 4 shallots in each clump, and then you get a really good size for later in the year. But if you look at this one here, this one is split into, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's at least 11 there. Now they're not going to grow to a decent size if I leave 11 in, so what I tend to do is I tend to just pick a few out. If you look at that, just clean that off. That works as an absolutely fantastic spring onion. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll pick about 6 or 7 of them. We just leave 4 in the ground, and then I'll take them home, and me and the wife will eat them this week. And I do that throughout the season, as I say, and just leave 4 in. Here were my onion sets. I've got some red barrel onion there, and they're all doing really, really well. What size are them already? Seem to be doing really well in this bed, so I'm happy with that. A bit of spinach there. These are my own sown onions, multi-sown and then dropped in earlier in the year. Again, I'm really happy with how they're turning out. We have 2 rows of Ulster Craig, 1 row of Red Baron, 2 rows of Bedfordshire Champion. Garlic's doing well. I can't wait to harvest that. That's looking really, really healthy. I have thrown a little bit of chicken manure pellets on that periodically, just to give it a little bit of a boost, and they seem to be doing really, really well. Potatoes, I've never ever had potato plants look as healthy as them. First time this year growing them in containers, and as you can see they're looking absolutely fantastic. Now the bottom third of them containers are filled with well rotted horse manure, then I just topped up and planted into compost, and they're doing really, really well, just starting to flower up there. So my first earlies, which are at this end, second earlies are in the middle, and main crop are at the end and on this side. So I'll be looking to take some first earlies out soon and see what they're like. I've interplanted a few sunflowers, as you can see here, but they're direct into the ground between the containers. Some more sunflowers there. This week I put this veggie mesh on because I put some of my later sown brassicas in there. Purple sprout and broccoli, and what else did I put in here? I can never remember what I've done. If it wasn't for labelling, I'd be no good. Alright, so they're Durham early spring cabbage, and they're purple sprout and broccoli. So they're being protected from the cabbage white and from the pigeons. My parsnip stations, really happy with them. They're doing really, really well. And there's some more of them. Show you some more of them snowball turnips, and you can see they're really, really, really nice. Quite a mild flavour on them. They need to get a little bit bigger, but they're really, really nice. We make we mash them with carrots and have a carrot and snowball turnip mash. Beetroot are doing okay. My carrots are flying away. Don't know, you probably can't make them out under the veggie mesh because it's really, really wet. But yeah, the carrots are doing really, really well in there. Okay, so this is my beans, peas and squash bed. These flowers here, these nasturtiums, are all self-seeded. So as long as they're not intruding onto the other plants, I'll leave them in. My corn, put in a week or 2 ago, it's doing well. My pumpkins, so I've just put in recently. Dwarf French beans, doing okay. Kelvin and Wonder peas. I haven't checked what sort of height they grow to, because they're doing really, really well, but they're much slower growing than the early onwards in the far, on the far frame there. that are much slower growing, or whether they're just a smaller variety and they don't grow at all. I need to check the seed packet on that. Monge 2 running away with themselves, just starting to get 1 or 2 flowers on. The early onward never let me down, plenty of flowers, and peas starting to develop on them, some pods starting to develop on them already, so they're doing well. My Blue Lake climbing French beans, again, never tried these before, but they seem to be doing okay. They've been in maybe 2.5, 3 weeks, and they're up to 1 metre tall now, so I'm quite happy with them. A couple of sunflowers at either end, and a couple more of my pumpkin plants that have gone in there, and then they'll be allowed to root across the ground there and spread and take up this inner space here inside the frame. Produce some pumpkins for the kids at Halloween. This is just a flower bed. Got some sunflowers in the centre, sweet peas up each of them canes, and we got some cosmos in the corners, all nice and symmetrical. As I've said before, I'm obsessed with how things look. Strawberry bed, the very first video I ever did was about this strawberry bed, and I'm happy with that. Probably got to get in and do a little bit of weeding. I'm debating whether to put some straw down to keep the slugs down, but at present I treated these beds with the Nemesis slug, natural slug deterrent, and that seems to have done well. I've not got nearly as much slug damage this year as last year. There's little strawberry, he'll be getting picked in a minute when I stop filming. My compost base, I'm already filling this one with plenty of greens and some old compost. I did a video a few weeks back regarding these ones with the horse manure and the free greens I got from clipping back the hedgerow. I'll just see what the temperature's like. Oh, there you go. Hopefully you can see that. It's in that green zone, 50 degrees we've got. Oh, you can see that? Yeah, look at that. Really happy with that. So that's all of them greens that I put in the other week. That will be them firing up that compost heap to break it down again. I've just showed you the poly, and now our favourite area on the plot is our little wildlife and flower garden. Without doubt, my favourite part of the plot. As you can see, I don't know the names of all these flowers. The wife tends to take care of them. I do know these are geums, these orange ones. I know we've got some rudbeckia at the back which will flower slightly later. I know that one's a delphinium, oh, so maybe I know more than I thought, but she is the flower lady. We've got some alliums on the go over there. The structures of them alliums are amazing. I don't know what these are, but these are a pretty flower. Oh, look at that. The structure of that's beautiful. Okay. I've got more strawberries up here. Look. A couple of hanging baskets for my spray strawberries. Yeah, pond's looking really, really nice. We've got some more strawberries down here. Got them potted everywhere. Okay. Calendula. Some forget-me-nots. And then I'll run out now. Oh, lupins. I recognise the lupins. I mean, how beautiful is that? You see that bee? Just making its way through the lupins. Really, really Stunning colours and stunning structures as well. And some red ones. I don't know what these daisy type flowers are. And then we have our foxgloves. We try and keep this as wild looking as possible. And there's a whole wall of foxgloves across there. I had nothing nesting in my nest box this year, which is slightly disappointing because we were successful last year, but they've not come back. Some more foxgloves. Oh, and while I'm showing you the flowers, I want to put a question out to you guys out there, because we've got a lupin plant over here that was flowering beautifully, and then something, and I don't know what, and I don't know how, because they've done it very, very neatly, has completely stripped the stems, I don't know if you can see that, of the flower heads. So we've only got that left. And again, on this one, completely stripped. Don't know if you can see that. Now these were flowering, you can see some of the flowers still on, lower down. But they've all been stripped, and I don't know what by. And so, if any of you guys know what strips lupin flower heads like this, the lupin spikes, I have never ever come across it, never seen it before, and I don't know what. See, this is the colour that the flower was, and it was beautiful, and it's completely been picked clean. There's no other damage other than every single flower has been just picked off like that. I think it's been picked off. I don't think they've shed them. So if anybody can help me with that, if they've come across that before, please let me know in the comments. So that's my garden tour for June. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And as I say, if any of you know what's happened to my lupins, please let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed today. If you'd like to subscribe or like, that would be fantastic if you could consider that. And if anybody wants any notifications of when any other videos are up, hit the notification bell, and you'll be sure to be notified. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I'm going to crack on now with a bit more, go see the dogs, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.